Hello and welcome to a new episode of Transformational Thursdays with AKA me, the intuitive coach Diana Elena Matei, with Diana Boschma, the microbiome guru, with Verna Haywood, AKA the unstoppable V, and Victoria Komoyoshi, AKA the three principal expert. Now, we are all coaches and we all have our niche. I mainly focus on people who are ready to deal with their grief, depression, unworthiness, and so on and so forth, and are ready to take that to a place of joy, of healing, through healing. Diana is incredible and always focusing on anything meditation related, anything mindfulness related, and most importantly, how to get in touch with yourself by reconnecting with your microbiome, understanding it, and really and truly applying that in your life. Then Verna is here to create resilience, to support you onto your journey by creating resilience while being unstoppable. Unstoppable. That's her main defining / keyword. And then Vikki, well, she's really incredible as she's not only teaching the three principles, but she is also living by them. She's living them and she is happily sharing all of them with you. Of course, through her own lenses, it is up to you how you choose and what you choose to pick up from that. Now, I know in some parts of the world is morning, so good morning. I know in some parts of the world is evening, so good evening, or maybe you're somewhere in between, good afternoon, or whatever you feel you are ready to say. Before we start this episode, let's have a quick grounding led by our awesome Diana Boschma.
All right, let's do it. Let's start with closing your eyes and think about the energy of your root chakra, because we're going to ground the root chakra with the core of the earth. The root chakra is the energy center that is at the base of your spine, and its presence is usually a red ball which is warm. Start to think about a cord that you'd like to create to connect this. That cord can be like a root of plants, it can be a piece of rope, it can be anything you like. And start thinking about how that becomes a light of the cord and slowly starts moving down. With each breath that you take, the cord gets longer and longer and longer. Goes through all the layers of the earth, passing rock, soil, and water. And with each connection, it's deepening. With each inhalation, it's deepening the connection. Step by step. At some point, you feel that connection to the earth's core. The molten core gives you a bit of a feeling of a connection that bounces back through your cord. And let your cord connect properly and deeply with it. so that it can absorb the strength and stability from the core. When that happens, you can start thinking about the things that you don't need, the energies you want to get rid of, the energies that don't serve you. Let them all fall down into the cord. You can feel that the earth nourishes you, and you can also feel that everything you don't need can go down there and be recycled into other energies that can serve you and others. And when you feel you've done that, open your eyes.
Thank you, Dee. That was incredible, and I trust that you have all grounded yourself, my beautiful companions, and I'm sure that you, the one watching this one right here, right now, you have felt the benefit of it straight away, the connection, the beauty. Now, the question that we are going to answer today is, how can I conquer my fear of rejection? This question is deeply rooted in fear. In fear, yes, in fear. Rejection is like an extension of that fear. Fear has so many branches, and rejection is one of it. But first of all, I would like to invite you to have a journaling on what rejection really means for you. And when have you had your first encounter with it? When did it happen? And why did you perceive it that way? Is that filter that you had available at that time still applicable today? Do you feel that the rejection that has triggered you back then has the same impact now? What is it that not only you feel, but what is your first thought when you're thinking of rejection? So right now, move from emotion to thinking, from feeling to thinking. You already have experienced that. So why did you experience that? Go into your head. And I know that most of the time we are going from the head to the heart. Now I want you to go into your head and find out what are the thoughts that are coming up for you when you are thinking of rejection. And then what's the resistance you are meeting into conquering it? What do you see that resistance as? Why do you think you have that resistance towards conquering that fear of rejection? And then go back into your heart center and feel once again that rejection, because those thoughts are attached to that emotion. So now you're thinking it, now you're feeling it. And this is how the healing process starts. By first of all, defining what rejection is for you and finding that memory, finding what triggers you in the present, in the now. Of course, there is so much more to go on as always, but we want to keep this sweet and short rather than long and with a lot of pompous content. So I'm going to ask Diana to continue from her perspective by answering the same question.
Yes, thank you. And while you were talking about the fear and everything, I started thinking a bit about this question, and fear and anxiety tend to go hand in hand. They tend to have a lot to do with each other. So I started thinking about the microbiome and anxiety, because anxiety is often also rooted in an imbalance in the gut microbiome. And there are some bacteria that produce neurotransmitters like GABA that has a very calming effect on people, which could help with fears and anxiety. And then there's some others that influence the stress response pathways, which also, when the diversity is good, it lowers stress and it lowers anxiety, which then has a very positive effect on fear of rejection. So for that, there's dietary interventions that you can do, as you know, incorporating more prebiotics and probiotics, and probiotic foods or fermented foods that can be made with vegetables or dairy, like yogurt. And those are pretty good foods. You can also go for a supplement, but probiotic foods tend to have more variety, and the larger the variety, the better built your microbiome is. And then there's the thing of the thought process is self-esteem, self-beliefs, and things like that. And I think that for that, we should move on to Verna and Victoria, because those two will have quite a bit of good things to say, because resilience plays a part in it, and the thought processes for the 3 Ps as well. So Verna, what do you have for us?
Oh, sorry. Sure, right. Resilience. And this is where you learn to build resilience. And it's like something you said is about the belief as well. So your thought process has a lot to do with it. What are you thinking? What is your thoughts? What is coming up? Where is it coming from? Because it's coming from a place much deeper than you think. There's some things you have to look on reflecting. You reflect on why do you feel that fear of rejection? Why do you feel afraid of being rejected? And sometimes that has to do with something that may have happened that you haven't dealt with. So sometimes we know we go to make the bed, but we don't really want to make the bed. So we just threw the quilt over it and all the sheets and everything is messy under. And we don't want to do that. Or we just sweep something into the corner and hoping we never have to deal with it. But it needs to be dealt with. Otherwise, just keep coming up and up and up again. So one of the things is about building resilience and not being afraid of rejection. That fear is just coming to stop you from moving forward. And is because you have something that it can be seen and know that how you can flourish and progress. So one of the things you want to do to build that resilience is surround yourself around people who cares about you regardless of what, regardless of whatever happened. They love you, they cherish you, and they trust you. And you likewise trust them. So you can share whatever your deepest emotions with them and it stays there. And you get that guidance. So it's about the belief. What do you believe about yourself? Not about anybody else, because you might think is what somebody has said, but what are you believing? And do you need to change that mindset? Because mindset is everything. That mindset. You think about a flower. If you don't give that flower nourishment, if you don't put it in the sunshine, if you don't give it nutrients, it blossoms. It doesn't blossom. The petal dies. So you want to be around flourishing people. You want to look at what is happening. What is the story? Sometimes we tell ourselves stories. What is the story we're telling ourselves? And when you look at the story you're telling yourself, you need to change that story. You need to switch what you're saying. What self-talk? What are you saying to yourself? There is just so many things you need to think about and you need to look into. So your whole thought, the whole belief system, you need to build that inner strength, because when you could build that inner strength, you're building resilience. So your inner strength doesn't just come from, I just need to build some strength. If you think of an athlete, when they're building with their muscles or whatever it is they need to build for a race or build a strategy, they have to burn calories, and they have to, the toxins, they can feel their muscles burning, and it's like, oh, I want to stop. But no, you can't stop. You have to keep building. And that's going to build your inner strength. So you need to shift your focus. Shift your focus from being fearful of being rejected and start speaking some positivity, positive words. You are a seed, and you plant seeds and you nourish those seeds grow. So what words are you speaking to yourself? What words are you saying? What words are you talking? Or when you speak about yourself, how are you speaking about yourself? So take some time and reflect. It doesn't mean because you reflect, you're going to stay in the past. Only if you choose, because what you're doing right now, by being fearful of rejection, is somewhere in the past. And you're thinking, well, if I try to do that, I'll be rejected. Nobody would like me. Nobody will believe, or nobody will look at me. No, think of yourself that you're a beautiful person. You're beautiful on the inside and on the outside. So this is where we will talk about, we can go a lot deeper, like every one of my colleagues, from Diana, the intuitive coach, to Diana, the expert on the microbiome, is all about what are you thinking? It's all about that thought process. It's all about feeding. What are you feeding yourself? Because when you feed yourself good food, that good food nourish the microbiome. That good food help you to build that intuition. That good food, oh, it strengthens you from the inner man. And the inner man is deeper than the outer man. So there's a lot of ways we can go about it. But this is the way you build, not to be fearful, and not to be fearful of rejection, because you are quite capable. You have everything on the inside of you. And this is where we come in to help you. And so I will pass on to my colleague, Victoria, who will go a little bit more deeper with mind, consciousness, and thought, the 3 Ps, the principles. And she will take you deeper. So,
Thank you, Verna. Thank you, Verna, the nice introduction, and thanks the other 2D also for the sharing. I was thinking about that. I don't know if it's good or bad to be the last one, as you all shared your great wisdom, what you already shared and so in each question. And feelings, fear as the 3 principle is describing, it's all coming from us. we are the creator of our feeling. We are the creator of our experiences. And the creation process is happening in each of us. Everyone is doing the same. And when you fear of rejection, that fear is just representing your thinking in the moment. As Verna said, that it's coming from you. You have fearful thinking, and because it's coming from you, you have the power to change. And the 3 principle is all about recognizing your feeling and your thinking in the moment. The 3 principles simply explain that how the life moment and moment experience are coming through these 3 basic principles: mind, the life energy, the consciousness that we are able to recognize our life. We are conscious about the happening around us. We are conscious about our feelings or doings or beingness. And the thought is the missing link, the thinking, because each thinking, each thoughts come from the mind. And the creation, when the thoughts come into your head, you recognize it as a feeling, as a thinking, as an image. Via the consciousness, create the image. And that is just how it is. I can't explain it better. So fear of rejection, in my experience, and based on this understanding, how I see it through the 3 principles, is just that in the moment when you have a negative feeling, we start to recognize or start to experience more the negative in our life. We put our negative attention. We saw that because someone is not having the same opinion or not in the same way how they are thinking, and you believe, you have a thoughts that they will not like you, they will not accept your thinking, they will not get your idea. And it's just to see what you think, just to see that you are thinking that way, and that's what you feel. It's not coming from others, it's coming from you. And that's where we can have the power to recognize that everyone doing the same things. Other people can have fearful thinking that we don't having the same thoughts. But that's, if we reverse it, that can be a positive thing, because we can see more, we can learn more from each other. So instead of thinking as a negative, that what if other people think of you, you can be curious that what think about me, what kind of things, what I don't see about myself. So instead of being fearful You can start to be curious. You can start to be open to see what other people see. You can start to be curious why they see it, how they see it. And really just being present with that possibility that things can be different, things can go different, people can think differently. Excuse me, because we are all do. So fear of rejection, it's come from you based on the 3P understanding. And when you recognize your thinking, when you recognize that it's only present when you are feeling bad, when your feeling is negative, because when you have a good feeling, your fear of rejection disappears. It's disappearing. You're just enjoying your moment. Where the fear of rejection goes when it's not there? Why we don't feel it every time when we are present with others? Because when you have a good feeling, you don't focus on those negative thoughts. But when we have a negative feeling, you start to recognize those crazy thoughts and get rational that why I feel negative. So the feeling just telling you that when you feel bad, don't buy any thoughts, what's coming to your head, not even a fear of rejection. Because just a negative feeling, you want to rationalize. Just let go. Focus on the feeling telling you that. And you feel good, everything is all right.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, beautiful. Appreciate you to the moon and back, but you already know that. Thank you for each and one of you for your input and for being fully present in here. Thank you to you listening to this. And if you feel that your fear of rejection has not yet touched a rock bottom of it with these perspectives that we have offered, and you have found certain insights that might need some nourishment, if you feel like one of us resonated with you the most, do reach out. We are here for you. We created this project for you. We learn and grow together. So happy Thursdays, and remember, transformation is the only way to grow, expand, and heal. Thank you, thank you, thank you. See you next Thursday.